Hey, what's up, bud? It's Ash, and welcome back to the Stanley parable. We're just going to be picking up where we left off. We got 3 different endings.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
I think we heard this already. So we're just going to get right back into it. So we got 3 different endings last time. So we're going to go for a different one. I think I'm going to listen
All of his co-workers were gone.
for the first door,
What could it
and then...
mean?
Okay, shut up.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay, I'm going to listen for the first, door set here, and then I'm going to go down the stairs whenever I get to the stairs. I'm going to see what happens when I do that.
When Stanley came to a set of
The
2
left.
open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Yes, I listen, because I am a good boy. Besides the staircase. Whenever he gets to the staircase, I'm just going to go straight down.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Hoping coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
No, I'm going to go downstairs. Screw you, this is alarming. Sure. Hello.
But Stanley just couldn't do it.
I can't.
He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours.
It's too
He might
hard.
be fired for that.
I would be.
And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk?
We're looping.
All because he believed everyone had vanished. His
We're
boss
looping.
would think he was
Yeah.
crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley.
What?
Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all.
We're looping.
None of it made any logical sense.
I think I might
And as
actually be
Stanley
going
pondered
crazy.
This, he began to make other strange observations.
I have no
For
feet.
example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down?
I just said
Why
that.
did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went?
True.
And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar.
Yep, they're
Were they
exactly
simply
the same.
repeating?
Yep, they are.
No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue.
I'm dreaming.
He just hadn't found the words for
I'm
it.
dreaming.
I'm dreaming!
Yeah!
He yelled.
I
This
am.
is all a dream.
Right?
Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer.
So
an
can I wake up?
explanation.
Let me wake
His
up.
co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose
1,
his
2,
job.
B4, so
He
B is
wasn't
3?
crazy
All right.
after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid.
The music is so ominous.
So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
Whoa!
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield.
Do I get
and
to...
it too appeared.
Whoa.
It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up.
So I have to be
How
dreaming
was
then
he
if I can
remaining
imagine
so
these
lucid?
things.
And then perhaps the strangest question of them all.
When I hit
entered
the jump
Stanley's
button,
head.
there's a button
While he was
noise.
amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner.
Maybe I'm daydreaming.
Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm
Meta.
dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he
Yup.
thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course,
I don't think so.
this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself? Believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream.
It had to
Did
be.
the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How
True.
else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would
Ooh.
prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he
Oh.
invited himself to wake up.
Okay.
He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back,
So I can feel all these
the
things.
fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over.
Right?
Let me go back to my job.
He's just gonna wake
Let me
up right where he
continue
was.
pushing the buttons. Please. It's all I
I'm gonna
want.
wake up right where I was.
I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job.
I have a wife?
All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
The narrator's perfect for this. Oh.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Oh. Wow. The narrator did a
This
really
is the
good
story
job.
of a woman named Mariella.
Mariella? Who are you, Mariella?
woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and
Is
walked
that
to
me?
her place of work.
Am I dead?
But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself.
Oh.
Then collapsed dead on the sidewalk.
The crazy
And although
ending.
she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like.
Dead.
And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be
What
normal.
the fuck?
I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't.
Wow.
It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day.
Yeah, the meeting.
Very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career.
Right.
And by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this. So it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body.
Wow.
And then she turned and ran.
Mariella. Okay. We're just back. I'm gonna call that the crazy psychotic break ending. So, what if we listen to him instead of jumping off the railing when going to the
Stanley
right?
decided to go to the meeting room.
Yep.
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay. Those doors are all open now. Does it still say Mondays? Yeah, it does. 416, 415. That door's open? Okay. Alright, whatever. I'm just gonna go to the right.
Stanley came to a set of
And then
two
keep
open
going to the
doors.
right.
This was not the correct way to
The meeting room.
And
Yep.
Stanley knew it perfectly well.
I did.
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee
Nope.
lounge first, just to admire it.
No, I just wanted to go across the big thingy that you carried me across.
Truly a room worth admiring. But eager to get back to business,
Yep.
Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Did I? Nope, I didn't. Okay.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
I mean, my job is to just push buttons, so I do have to just follow
Stanley,
direction.
I
What's
think
up?
Perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here.
Did we?
I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not.
I don't believe
I
you.
realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact
yeah,
is that
I
the
have trust
story
issues.
has been about nothing but you all this time.
I don't believe
There's
you.
someone you've been neglecting, Stanley.
Have I?
Someone you've forgotten about.
Is it my wife?
Please, stop trying to make every decision.
Is it
by
Mariella?
yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me.
Ah,
I'm asking for her.
so you are hinting at a wife. So what's in
This is
here?
it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself.
How do I
To
redeem
put
myself?
your
This
work
very
aside,
open, obvious
to let
black
her
door?
back into your life. She's been waiting.
Oh,
That's her, Stanley.
that's her?
You need to be the one to do this. To reach out to her.
Okay. Mariella? Is that you, honey? Sugar Plum? Sugar... My apartment is 427.
Oh, Stanley, is that you?
Yeah, it's me.
Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting.
I don't
I'm just
believe
pulling
you.
the bread out of the oven.
I don't believe you.
All right.
Nope, not my wife.
Okay, there we go.
Not my
All
wife.
right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your
Yep. Told you.
Gotcha.
That's my wife.
Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife?
Yep.
Who'd want to commit their life to you?
Excuse
I'm
me?
trying to make a point here, Stanley.
Yeah?
I'm trying to get you to see something.
What's that?
Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
Okay. Is this my apartment?
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
I died? Good morning, employee 427 Press.
Stanley
Okay.
is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him.
Yeah?
And every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence.
Jesus.
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do.
Am I not supposed
Now
to?
he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now
What?
he's going home. Now he's coming back to work.
Nice body.
One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
Good facial structure. Okay, I'll press triangle, I
But in
guess.
his mind, in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures.
I can.
From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands.
Call me Christopher Columbus.
And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, I'll watch some
And so he
TV.
began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss,
Saying that it's
everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the
11:20?
face of the earth. The thought excited him
11:21.
terribly.
Press X to spend time with the boys. Do I got
So
the boys?
he
Are we
went
going
further.
golfing? Are we drinking?
He
What are we
imagined
doing?
that he came to two open doors and that he could go through either.
Yeah.
At last, choice.
So
It
this is all a
barely
dream in
even
my head
mattered
while I'm
what
working.
lay
That's
behind
why
each door.
each sound, whenever I
Mere
click,
thought
it's
that his
a
decisions
keyboard.
would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world,
Wow.
he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions.
I went on that
Down
one.
another was a game with a baby.
I could let the
And
baby
he
die.
called it the Stanley Parable.
So this is super meta.
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over
Wow.
and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end.
So this is
that
just
he might
Stanley's
always
daydream.
feel this free.
Wow.
Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be?
Yeah.
Perhaps if he played just one more time.
I love you, Mariella.
But there is no
You
answer.
itch.
How could there possibly be?
Oh, so this
In
is going to
reality,
turn into the
all
hallway.
he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed.
That's heavy.
The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets. The more he forgets which life is the real one.
Jesus.
And I'm trying to tell him this. That
Yep.
in this world, he can never be anything but an observer.
Yep.
That as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself.
Oh.
But he won't listen to me.
Oh.
He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
Okay. I'm not going to touch it. Let's see what happens. I'm going to give this a full minute. And if nothing happens, then I'll push the button. Alright, well, that's a minute.
You see? Can he just not hear me?
I literally did it for
How
not
can
a
I tell him
minute.
in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here,
Here?
he's electing to kill himself.
Am I?
How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
A mirror?
I suppose I can't. Not
A
in
mirror.
the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must.
Okay.
Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time.
Well, how are you going to give
And I
me?
tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed
Please
a button.
die. Okay. And we're back. I don't even know
All
what
of his
ending I want to go
co-workers
for
were
this
gone.
time.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to
What
go
if
to
I
the
go
meeting
up
room.
to the
Perhaps he
boss's
had simply
office?
missed the memo.
And before the door... Oh. New content? Yeah, let's go for it.
Oh, new content?
Apparently.
What does that mean? New content.
I don't know, I'm figuring it out like how you are. Oh. Huh. Just going on a little ride?
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
No problem.
As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers.
I didn't know that.
After receiving critical
Ooh.
and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers.
Got ya. A reimagining? Has
The
it changed
Stanley
that
Parable
much?
Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over.
This seems purposefully vagueful.
Please, step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Alright.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful.
It does.
I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content.
So am I. It's like AstroTurf?
So far, it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure
Looks
it's
like
just the
AstroTurf.
beginning of a mesmerizing adventure.
I hope so. So...
Is it broken?
Same question.
What's going on here?
Yep.
Should we be moving somewhere? Or,
Oh,
there we go. All right, finally, at long
took a little
last,
while.
it's on to the new content. I've never been more ready. Let's do it.
is it this way? Wait, which way is it? What? Yeah, what is this new content? Is it just the elevator ride?
I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious.
Yep,
It's as
same
if,
here.
Oh, okay. Let's see
This
the
way.
content. Give me the content, Stanley.
Yeah. Let's see it. The jump circle.
All right, let's see. It's the jump circle.
I can jump. Is that it?
Is that it?
Same question.
Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right?
I mean, I could jump. That was pretty fun.
Another elevator.
I mean, I could
Stanley,
jump. That's cool.
I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive.
This is
It's
meta.
just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content?
It seems like
if this
it.
is new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell,
Let's read the
I could
dictionary.
count to 30 trillion. You could put that on the box.
True.
The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And oh, wait,
Oh.
there's more.
Oh, there is more.
Very good.
Okay. Well, what's more?
I knew there had to be something else.
Oh,
Let's see
a
it.
rail.
I'm ready for whatever it is.
That's it.
That's it? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You
I'm
see, Stanley?
so mad.
This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no
Wow.
reason other than to make an easy dollar.
Just a couple
and don't
bucks?
Get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact,
Perfect.
I'm looking right now at the game's achievements, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test achievement, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter
Yep.
and hold them personally accountable.
We gotta go on Twitter.
It's my fault, Stanley.
Is it?
I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid.
You have.
It could never have lived up to such expectations.
But it's
If you're
meta.
still with me, why don't we just reset the game?
Okay.
And we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about.
For sure.
No frills, no gimmicks.
So gimmicks.
Just you and me having a great time together like always.
So there's gonna be
What do you
gimmicks.
say, friend?
Sure. Go ahead. That's not the same. Oh, so it's just like, oh, here's...
Psst. Stanley, come over here. In the vent. I want to show you something.
Sure. What's in the vent, sir? There's mug and a screwdriver in here? Was the narrator in here?
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well,
Yeah.
It got me thinking about the past and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be.
How much better
So
did it?
I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it.
Are we in
Just
Skyrim?
our little secret. Take a look.
Wow.
I call it the Memory Zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want.
God, it's
Experiences
beautiful.
like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC. You see, Stanley,
2013.
doesn't the Memory Zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap
The Stanley
re-release?
Parable?
Remember back in October of
2013.
2013 when the game originally launched?
Right there.
Back then, video games had integrity.
Did they?
Back then, it all meant something. Oh, the waste.
Wow. What's this then? 2013. Oh, just the time. The files of the Stanley Parable. They had cards. The original remake. Good times. Trip down memory lane. Smile because it happened. This the first dollar they ever like acquired from selling the game? Unachievable. It's impossible to get this achievement. Go outside, don't play for 5 years. Wow. Oh, nominate British Game Innovation. Oh my gosh. The Insanity ending that I just got. Or, I don't even remember what I called it. Stanley Parable now. That's a big house. Is this a bench that I can just sit at? Nope, can't sit at it, but it's there. Well, there's the piano that's playing.
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism. 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created."
Wow.
Did you hear that, Stanley?
Every game ever created.
That's
yeah, I heard
how
it.
grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was.
Because it was so innovative?
Literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim. It was Persona 3. It was all of them. And now, it's nothing.
Is it?
It's
I
no
think
games
it's
at
still
all.
something.
It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore.
I think it
It's
is.
just a husk now. A lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
Well, this is some new content, I would say. It's down here. Memory zone maintenance. Just picture. Is that Portal? Portal? What do you mean Portal? Minecraft? I think we played like Hunt of the Wild or whatever and like Rocket League. Why is there Portal and Minecraft on the wall? The choice doors, yeah. Person of the Year, Stanley. Wow. So what's in this big old room? Ooh, another review?
Here's another moving passage, this
9
time
out of
from
10?
GameSpot.com.
Why not 10?
The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games, and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else.
9 out of
It didn't
10.
need new content.
So it was perfect the way it
needed
was.
to be left alone.
Yeah.
To spend the rest of time collecting dust in the hallowed hall of beloved video game memories.
Where do I go now? Back through those doors? Through here? The serious room? I don't remember the serious room. Can't go through there, so I guess I just have to go back this way.
These were simpler times, Stanley.
Oh.
But I wouldn't give to go back, to have it all over again.
What, just to
Wait,
start over from the
Hang
beginning?
on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before.
Oh, Steam
What's
reviews.
This? What's down here? Oh no.
These are the
God,
mean
no.
ones.
Stanley, it's a collection of reviews from Steam,
Yeah.
the online video game distributor.
Yep.
I haven't looked at these in years.
Yeah, they're probably
I can't even
mean.
imagine what's been collecting down here.
Let's see.
Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they?
It's Steam, so probably not.
Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny.
I think he's
with
hilarious.
his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining.
Wow.
Funny. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I
wow.
could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I
Right.
can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
You are coming off a bit pretentious, gonna be honest. What does this one say? Can't even read it. Never mind. Bucket. So, are we just gonna look at more bad reviews? The idea.
Okay, let's see what this one says.
Yikes.
While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley? I'm not preachy, am I?
A little.
You can tell me
A
if
little.
I'm preachy. Honestly, you can.
Just like a little.
This is actually quite shocking for me.
That's okay.
I always, well, to be honest,
You
I
can't
had
satisfy
always thought of
everyone.
the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with.
I don't know what that word
I don't
means.
know how much fluff I
Terse.
cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did, but maybe it wasn't.
I think it was
Yeah.
nice.
What an awful memory to have to hold on to.
Well,
These
it's
black
there.
marks are my otherwise unimpeachable track record.
Unimpeachable.
I feel like a failure,
You shouldn't.
like I let these people down.
I mean,
Perhaps
you
the
can't
Stanley
please everyone.
Parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remember. What's this one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button.
A skip button?
A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If
Okay.
I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt.
Sure.
Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record.
I guess.
Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable.
But you
That's
can't
my motto,
please
and
everyone.
it's always been my motto. I'd do
You
anything
can't-
for the customer, Stanley.
you
Yes,
can't please
a skip
everyone.
button we shall have.
But you can't please everyone. Alright, whatever.
And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll pop you forward in time
Okay.
so that the second...
You did it.
Back, you see?
Yep.
You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but
Yep.
it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verbal flourishes and
Oh.
lengthy ruminations on the nature of choice in video games.
Right.
Of course, I happen to believe it was perhaps one of my more profound such ruminations. Well, there, sport.
Got ya.
You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you?
Yep.
But that's the power of the button.
It works.
The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption, it's right at your fingertips.
You're doing
to
it
go
again, aren't you?
off, and it's all over.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to see what Cookie 9 will say
Cookie
about this,
9?
and whether they'll
Is that the
edit
person's name of the
rating their
review?
Steam review, or
Oh,
at
it
least
is.
change some of the wording, perhaps. To be honest, I don't even know if one can change their review in the first place.
Yeah, I don't know if you can
I guess
either.
I should become better educated on exactly how Steam works.
Well, I mean, if it weighs,
Perhaps
like, conscious...
that would have been the
yep.
smart thing to check on before I went up.
See you later.
Okay, welcome back, Stanley.
Yep.
Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer.
Right.
That last one was, well,
How long?
I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes.
Is it doubling?
It's not unendurable by any means, but it's, well, there's really only so much I can ramble on to myself about. I know
Right.
it's shocking, isn't it? But at
Yeah.
any rate, I do suggest that we not press the button again.
Okay.
I think the skip button has been aptly demonstrated, and we can say goodbye to it and just... Wait, how do we get out of here?
We can't.
Where did the door go?
There's no door.
Wasn't there a door that led into this room?
Yep, there
I
was.
do feel quite certain that there was one here before.
Yeah, there
How
is.
else would we have gotten into the room in the first place?
Don't tell me
I
you're
don't
just gonna-
think one can enter a room without a... Stanley!
Yeah.
Stanley!
Yeah.
Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been
Yep.
12 hours.
Sorry.
You've just been frozen there.
Yep.
I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but
I
they're
don't know either.
really, truly getting longer, and my God, there's no way out of the room.
So you couldn't...
Stanley, the door is gone. It's completely gone.
So do I just...
I've looked at it from every angle.
Do I
I've
just
checked
skip again?
every one of those walls 1,000 times.
I'm gonna have
and
to.
there's
I'm
no-
sorry.
Oh, Stanley, you're back.
I am.
You're back.
There's only one light
Oh,
on.
my goodness, I have someone to talk to again.
We'll talk at,
Stanley,
mainly, but...
I think it's been a week
A week?
or 2 weeks. I've been
2
sitting
weeks.
here all that time.
Not
just
talking?
Sitting here, not a single person to speak with.
Right.
And you'd think that that's just how it's always been, right?
Well, technically,
Me
yeah.
talking and you saying nothing.
Yeah.
Would you think that it's exactly the same as always?
Well, I guess
Doesn't
not.
that feel like what we've already been doing?
Yep.
Me just talking?
Pretty
It
much.
isn't, Stanley. It isn't the same at all.
Why is that?
It isn't even close.
Okay, well, explain.
Because I know you can't hear me once you push that button.
Yeah.
That's what I'm realizing now, Stanley.
What are you realizing?
I'm realizing that I needed to know that someone was listening. I needed there to be a vessel through which my words were moving.
Hmm.
Oh, hello.
Hey.
It's you. You're
Hey.
here again. Welcome.
Yep.
I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything we've been through.
Right.
I've had so much time.
Yeah.
I stopped keeping track after a year. Have you ever sat down in one place and not moved for one entire year?
Can't say
Let
I
me
have.
Describe it for you.
Go ahead.
To begin with, there is only regret.
'Kay.
There is only the turning wheel of
Can't you
missed
reset
opportunities.
the game?
I felt nothing at all but regret for the longest time, Stan.
So what do you feel now, then?
Days, months.
Okay.
I lost it all in a blur of
You're-
the
you're
deepest
blabbling.
longing to undo the past.
You're
And
blabbling?
when that feeling had begun to subside,
Yep.
what took its place is what I can only describe as the collapse of every moment I have ever experienced my entire life. All of them collapsed down into a single instant.
What would that be?
In that instant, I could see myself clearly, calmly, with a collected heart. It was an impossibly rich wellspring of both delight and disgust.
You're rambling again.
simultaneously. I was consumed by it. I could do nothing but wallow in it for what felt like
Yeah.
an eternity.
Yeah,
for what I-
sorry. Are you dead? Huh. I think he died. I mean, the tree's dead. Clock stopped ticking. The only thing that's powered on is the fire alarm, which I guess it needs new batteries. No lights are on. I'll just hit the button. Get me out of this one. Get me out of this one. Get me out of this one. I don't give a fuck about your fire alarm. Get me out. Get me out. Give me the button. I hate this noise. I hate this noise. Okay.
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned. They screamed. They gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us.
Yeah, you're going through a lot of things, aren't you? Yeah, you're going through a lot of regret. So you're just silent? Clock is still at the exact same time. Leaves haven't moved. Fire alarm turned off, though. Next one.
The end is never the end, 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 is never the end.
It's like the only thing he can say. Oh, it's raining. Ooh. Wait, will you water the tree? No, doesn't seem like it's reaching. Can you just reset for me real quick, please? Thank you. Doink. That seems like an issue. Seems like a pretty big... Does Stanley just not have to eat? Like, at all? Yeah, let's just keep going. Oh. I think it definitely is an issue now. Oh, it's just light out there? Yeah, sure. Let's just... I guess we just keep hitting the button. See what happens. Oh, it's pretty! Oh, this is so peaceful. I mean, there's still no, like, food. But it's very peaceful. I like it. I like this one. I would like to stay in this one. Next one. Okay, yeah, just fuck me, I guess. I didn't need all that peace or anything. Oh, am I gonna die? I'm just gonna chill right here. Just gonna keep an eye on it and push the button. Okay. Again, same thing. Aliens? Oh, what you did was a screech, so I'm just gonna go ahead and skip. Oh. Oh. There's a way out. Is this like Star Wars? No, there's only one sun there. Well, there's things off in the distance. Those look like trees. This looks like a really big tree. I'm gonna go to this one. So, how far forward did we actually skip? That's the real question. I mean, it looks like there's no water, but there's still trees, so there has to be some. Still have one sun, so still on Earth. That thing is in complete ruination. I'm just gonna keep walking in the trees direction. I mean, are we in the Sahara? Is that where the button was located? I could have sworn there was like water and crates in there before. Maybe they're all just buried down below that now? I don't know. I wonder if the clouds make any shapes. Nope, okay. So, we're just back. Like nothing happened. Can I push buttons? Nope, can't push buttons.
All of his co-workers were gone.
What could it mean?
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Okay.
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
On my way. New content. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and end the video here. The endings are getting progressively more weird and progressively more chaotic, and it has fully encaptured my attention. I can't wait to play this game again, but I don't want this episode to go on too long, so I'm just gonna go ahead and end it here. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and that's going to be it for me. Ash out.